Hey guys, it's lukemick here, and this is my sort of late review for the internship. So the internship is a movie that I thought would be pretty decent. It stars Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn, and they're two funny guys. They're not my favorite actors or comedians out in Hollywood, but they're watchable and I like them. And they really do kind of the same thing over and over again. But that's okay. They have a good thing going, and this is the movie where Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn just go to Google as interns and have to compete in all these events to actually to get jobs at Google, which would be a pretty cool job. I learned about Google, a year ago in school in a business class I took, and it seems like a pretty awesome company to work for. So I like the premise. Google seems like a really fun environment, and I think that makes for a pretty fun movie. So let's talk about it. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson just play your average guys who just lost their jobs, and they need to find a new one, and they just decide, let's be interns at Google and try to get a job there. And that's like the story pretty much, and that's what they do. And Vince Vaughn's character is a good salesman, and Owen Wilson has his own little things, I guess. But you're kind of just typical guys. There's nothing real special about them, but you like them, and you hope they can succeed. This movie also stars, I don't know a lot of the people's names, but the guy in The Social Network who kind of played like almost the assistant of the Winklevoss twins, that guy. Not Jesse Eisenberg, but the other guy, he's in it, and he kind of plays the typical villain bad guy in the movie, and he doesn't really do a lot. I mean, it's one of those movies that it's just so average, like there's nothing spectacular about it, but there's nothing really horrendous about it. You just kind of go there and watch it, and it's enjoyable for the most part, but there are things that are really dumb. It's really cliched, but there's about, I would say, I'd say there's about 20 teams. All the interns get into groups of 5 people, and they all have to work together, and there's about 100 people trying to intern. Let's just use that as an example. So there's supposed to be about 20 teams competing to get because only 5 people can get the internship, and that's one team, alright? So let's just say there's 20 teams. This is taking a while to set up. 20 teams, okay? It only focuses on 2 teams, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn's, because they're in a team, and then the guy from The Social Network. All the other interns who are trying to get the job, you don't hear a single thing from them. They're always cheering them on the sidelines. Whenever they're competing in an event, it's only between Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson and the guy from The Social Network. That's kind of a big problem. I mean, it doesn't show that there are other people competing. It just seemed like 2 teams head on. That's all it was. They didn't have any interaction with any of the other people. It's like they weren't even a threat. And obviously Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are older guys, so they're trying to get the hang of all the technology, because all the interns are college students. They're a lot younger, and they understand it. Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson don't, and you'd think they'd be a pretty crabby team, but Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson teach them the typical things about being social and just kind of growing up. But all the characters in this movie are likable in the team, in Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson's team. You don't really hate any of them, and they really start to let loose a bit later in the movie. And it's just so mediocre. I mean, there's some parts that are funny, and there's some parts that really aren't funny. And then it's sort of hit and miss, and it's just average. I mean, you just kind of go there and watch it, and you're just watching a movie. So I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. Definitely very cliched and has some issues, but overall the characters are likable, it's funny, and Google's a really interesting place to really set your movie in. I like that whole aspect of it. So this is lukemick signing off, and here's going to be a review for This Is the End. Please subscribe, and good night.